All right, shalom, shalom. We are the real Hebrew Israelites coming day in and day out to prophesy the downfall of Babylon the Great, which is America. First off and foremost, all praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles of great millstone. Salutations to the elect, wherever you may be. Brother Shapaya coming at you again with a quick lesson, another lesson through the spirit, if you will. And just touching in on this Israel and Syria conflict. And let me get this. Jeremiah 49:20. Therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh that he has taken against Edom, and his purpose, that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Okay? Now, who's that least of the flock? You small hatters. All right? Base of all men, Esau, Edom. All right, and that top tribe, Amalek, that's who really sits on top of everything, controlling everything. Whether it's the banks, whether it's the entertainment, whether it's the food industry, so on and so forth, man. All right, the elites that be of these prestigious families of Esau, Edom, that's who controls it. Now, you have all this bullshit going on dealing with Israel, and it's really showing you who had the blessing of the sword, man. These people cannot help but to have an enemy. All right. So let's go into a couple of reports. All right. Now we had things with Israel and Syria, or Israel and Iran, going back into 2024 with the whole drone thing. All right. Not to mention Israel had got help from US, UK, France, and Jordan. Okay. But nonetheless, you can see who's backing who. All right. Now, when you go to this year, all right, you had Israel versus Iran. This was a span like 10 some days, June 13th to June 23rd. All right. You had all these missiles that were launched against Iran, and then you had missiles that was launched against Israel. Not to mention Israel dropped the first bombs. All right. Now, after that, all right, it was a ceasefire. Then I ran through more bombs. Then it wasn't a ceasefire. Hey, like the scripture says, as soon as it say peace and safety, swift destruction, man. That tension is not going nowhere, man. Okay. Now, what you had happen, I believe, a couple of days ago, all right, you had Israel that carried out airstrikes over several days against the Syrian military in Damascus. All right. And it says the strikes responded to clashes between the Druze militia and the Budim/Syrian army forces. Now, apparently Israel is backing up the Druze. All right. But nonetheless, you had high value targets destroyed in that situation. The Syrian Defense Ministry, headquarters, the presidential palace, military vehicles, and not only that, casualties. Okay? Casualties. All right. And these things are still going on as I speak. All right. Matter of fact, from The Guardian, Israel strikes Syria's defense ministry in the third day of attacks. Now they're talking about a new ceasefire nowadays. But you see hostility and the tension, all right, and the clashing. Now, no matter what happens or how it go, these small hatters are going to find a way to tie everybody into a war, whether it's Israel versus all these Muslim states, if you will, so on and so forth, because literally what's happening. All right, which is going to cause these other countries, these bigger countries, uh, to back these smaller nations. All right, now some of these other nations already hate the whore. All right, so it's nothing but fuel for the fire. Um, and let me actually get that. Second address, 15, and started 28. And behold, a horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia should come out with many chariots. The multitude of them should be carried as the wind upon the earth, and all them which hear them shall may fear and tremble. Right? All these little skirmishes, all these little proxy wars, that's what it's leading up to. That's exactly what it's leading up to. This small hatter is starting to piss off the Muslim nations. All right, he's been doing it for years. Now, to hell with both sides, because we're the Israelites, but these things were prophesied. All right, Israel, these small hatters, these Israelis are digging a ditch for themselves. All right, it says, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried away as the wind upon the earth, and all they which hear them shall fear and tremble. Also, the Carmanians, same thing. All right, uh, raging with the wrath should go forth as a wild boar of the wood. And like I bring out, when you come across a wild boar, it's one of the most dangerous animals ever. All right. It says, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrian. All right. Now, who's the Assyrian? Who does that represent? Esau, Edom. Okay. Now, all that said and done, it's talking about them joining together to come against who? A common enemy. Who's that common enemy? Esau, Edom, starting with the small hatters and then Babylon the Great. Okay? Because listen, Russia are Edomites, but who's going to help Iran? Are the Edomites of Russia. All right? Because this is just proving how Satan's house is divided. All right? None of you Edomites could agree. Hey, none of you Edomites could agree with each other. Look what's going on with Trump and Elon Musk. All right, and that's proof right there. Okay, verse 31. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they shall return themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them, then these shall be troubled, bled, and kept silence through their power, and shall flee. And from the land of Assyria shall the enemy besiege them and consume some of them, and their hosts shall be feared and dread, and strife amongst their kings. Okay, so all this is going to happen. All right, and when all this happens, which is going to spark World War III, that MOTB has to be implemented. All right, it has to be implemented. Okay, nothing more, nothing less. All right, then all that death and all that destruction as far as the second death is going to come. Okay. Um, Genesis 16 and 12. And this is going into Ishmael. All right, because remember what I just read said they should remember their nature, and then he compared them to a wild boar. All right, this is Genesis 16 and 11. And the angel of Yahweh said unto her, behold, thou art with child, and shall bear a son, and thou shalt call his name Ishmael, because Yahweh hath heard thy affliction. and he shall be as a wild man. His hand should be, look, it said his hand should be against every man, and every man's hand against him. All right, there's always a problem with this nation, so to speak. And he shall dwell in the presence of his brethren. All right, so he's a wild man by nature. Okay, by nature he's a wild man. So when you those videos out here of Esau just being just rough and wild, whether it's beheadings, whether it's slaughterings, whatever it may be, man. I mean, Esau, Ishmael, okay? He's a rough guy, all right? And so now, what's going to happen? The man who's blessed with the sword, Esau eating him, and the man that's wild by nature, they're going to clash. They're going to have it the fuck out, right? That's what they're going to base this third war about. Third World's Third World's War. All right. And then there's already, I don't say publication, but there's already literature with details planning all this out. All right. Okay. So it's evident, man. Esau cannot escape his blessing, which is the blessing of the sword. He can't help but to steal, kill, and destroy. And that's all he ever did. Whether he went over there to set up Bin Laden, Saddam Hussein. Matter of fact, check this out. It says the U.S. has historically supported, directly or indirectly, a number of foreign leaders or strongmen for strategic, economic, or anti-communist reasons, only to later turn against them, often leading to their own downfall or death. All right, now here is a list. All right, Saddam Hussein, Iraq, supported in the 80s during the Iran-Iraqi War. Noriega, who we all know why that was set up. They was using the drug money to fuel a war for communists, against communists. Gaddafi, you have Nago Dimdim. Who else? Nicaragua. Osama bin Laden. And it says patterns observed. Regime change, shifts in the U.S. policies, blowback in the Cold War. All these things had things to do with each other. Either the U.S. came in and set them up to get what they want. These dictators or whoever they set up in power started not listening to them, so they had to more or less off them. And really, that's just the history of America. Use, abuse, and kill, so nobody could tell the story. That's just the nature of Esau. He has a forked tongue. It says his words are smoother than butter, but in heart, he wants to kill you, man. All right. He says the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Esau is the son of perdition. Everywhere he go, he kills, he destroys, he robs, he lies. He's a fucking cancer on planet Earth. And the only solution, that's why it says Esau, Edom, the only nation not promised mercy. All right. Esau is going to be eradicated off the face of the earth. Thus saith the Lord. Thus saith the Bible. That's the only solution. We're not making all these rules of the world and fucking over people and fucking over nations. Right? Esau, Edom sits at the head of that. And because what? They're greedy. They can't have enough. They can't be filled. Their desire is like fucking hell. Okay? So now that all this strife is being stirred up in the whole world, everybody's going to point the finger at who? This small hatter, because that's who's doing it all. All right. So that's just something I want to bring out. You had two conflicts that pretty much happened back to back with the same group of people. Israel being a culprit, and then Iran and Syria, who are both Muslim nations, man. Okay, so it's showing you who's the devil and who has the blessing and the sword. All right, these motherfuckers are just dropping bombs left and right. Oh, you look like you got weapons. You're going to attack us. Bomb them. Oh, you look like this. Bomb them. Bomb them. It's basically what's going on. Even before that, you had everything that was going on in the Gaza Strip and all the hostage situations and things of that nature, man. All right, them people are getting tired of Esau red ass. Okay, don't worry, the Lord has a plan for both sides. Hey, so with that, hey, I pray this was edifying. I'm gonna say all praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Prakadash. Double honors to the apostles, a great millstone and salutations to the elect, wherever you may be. Abba, Babal.